Welcome to my channel. I wanted to do a video to tell you about how I sold my haunted house. I never thought I would sell that house. It was more than just a house to me. And if I had $1 million, I would definitely buy it back immediately, even though it's a lot of work to maintain a big house. Didn't really realize how haunted it was until after we left. I met my husband, my father of my children, and 2 days after he invited me to this house, and I was astonished when I drove up the street how big and beautiful it was. It's 3,200 square feet. It's built by a famous architect, I guess, but I never knew that till after I sold it, after I listed it for sale. And there was a lot of memories there. My husband got cancer and died. I nurtured him. I took care of him. I took him to all his appointments and tried to keep him comfortable, and I knew he was going to die as soon as he got diagnosed. He had pancreatic cancer. And my 2 little kids, I tried to keep an environment for them where it was educational and stimulating and peaceful, and we put in a pond and a waterfall in the backyard for the wildlife because LA has a drought and they don't have anywhere to go. And we had a herd of 9 deer that would come to our house. We had opossums and great blue herons. We had a bobcat that came to our house. So it was really a special place. But then when my husband died, I had a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old to take care of, and I got remarried thinking that the person I was remarrying was the best friend of my family, when in actuality he was trying to get the money from my first husband's career as a special effects artist. So there's this thing called the curse of the Mothman, which I didn't know about. But my husband, who's the special effects artist, Martin, was famous for Friday the 13th, the movie Friday the 13th. Martin, the first date I had with him, we went to a hockey game, and I found out later when he did the Friday the 13th series, he started on Friday the 13th Part 4. It was his idea, I guess, to put the hockey mask in. And when I went to visit his office, he actually showed me the original hockey mask, one of them that they used. I guess it was made out of plaster or something. It wasn't very durable, but I don't really know what it was made out of. But it was kind of an exciting life with him. But he got out of scary movies. He didn't appreciate the way that he was like, he had a big fan following of people, but he did all these creative things in those movies that got emulated in real life. I guess there were some crazy people out there that decided to copy some of the special effects that they did. So he got into more serious type of special effects projects like commercials and motion pictures. And he was the life of the party. He was so fun to be around. He had 6 cars and a Hummer before anybody had a Hummer in town, and people would just turn their heads when we drive by. They'd never seen anything like it. It had a snorkel on it. He had a convertible Porsche. He had 4 pinball machines. He belonged to a train club called LA Live Steamers, and he had 7 trains over there, full-size, like 10-foot long trains that you'd ride on, and they were actual replicas of steam engines. And he was the nicest guy. Everybody loved him. He'd give parties at our house for every holiday, for every weekend, for every meal pretty much. And we'd have a crowd of people come over, musicians, magicians. Martin did special effects for famous magicians. I wasn't supposed to talk about it, but one of his clients was David Copperfield, and he did a bunch of others, and I learned all the secrets of some of the tricks that they did. But like him, I took an oath because I joined the Magic Castle for a little while as a sort of like a junior member, and I took an oath never to reveal the magic secrets, so I'm not going to be doing that. But we just had the most glorious, glamorous LA lifestyle, but without a bunch of fake stuff. It was just him and me and all the gang, you know, and our kids. And I never had to cook. He cooked everything for us. It was just really fun. And then when he got cancer, he just basically started complaining of back trouble, and we didn't know what was wrong with him. And it lasted for quite a while, and he had a lot of trouble with his partner at work. I kept noticing how his partner at work would start doing interviews and taking credit for some of their inventions. Like there was a thing they did for a TV commercial where they stopped motion. You've probably seen it in The Matrix, which they also did. But it was an array of cameras they originally invented for an Andre Agassi commercial, where he was going to hit the tennis ball and they were going to go with the tennis ball in motion, which was impossible because if they moved the cameras that fast, the G-forces would tear the cameras apart. So they did a camera array and they were experimenting with it, and they found out about this idea of this whole Muybridge-like camera array capturing a moment in time and being able to move around it. And so then they started marketing that. And so then when they did the interviews for Cinefex or these other magazines, I started noticing Martin's partner taking all the credit for all this. And I talked to Martin about it. He was very non-confrontational. He never wanted to rock the boat. He's like, oh, okay, the truth will come out in the end. But it actually didn't. There was a Wikipedia page about Martin because he was so famous as a special effects guy, and he had a huge following, the Friday the 13th gang, and a lot of interviews in Cinefex, and he did the Muppet movie when Kermit the Frog rode the bicycle, and it was a first time a puppet could ride a bicycle. It was like a robot, basically, that could ride a bicycle that had never been done before, but they actually did it with gyros in the wheels, I think. So Martin had a lot of achievements and was very well known. But years later, when his kids grew up, I went to show them his Wikipedia page. I said, you should learn about your dad. And we looked up Martin Becker, and apparently someone who wanted credit for a lot of his inventions had replaced his Wikipedia page with the Wikipedia page about a Nazi. And there's nothing about Martin Becker, the special effects man, anymore. And while I'm the widow and I should be probably protecting his legacy, I know how movable reality is in Wikipedia and the internet, and if I fight that fight, it'll probably just get put back because people who are alive today want credit for those inventions. So they're going to fight me tooth and nail for that. I'm just telling it here. If you look in old print media, you'll find out that Martin Becker really is the creator of these things. I don't know what's up with the internet, but that's not why I'm here today. I'm just telling you a little about Martin because I didn't realize how haunted our house was until after I left and I looked back on all the things that happened while I was struggling. And I realized, I thought it was like a magic house or something. I was going to say, oh, I sold my magical house. But then I realized Martin was very non-confrontational. And the way he would go about doing things if he were a spirit visiting us is exactly what happened.